Ancient Rome has inspired many video games, and most of them are real-time strategy games. Not many have tried to focus on a specific aspect of micromanagement, and when Canadian developer Barn made Domina, they went with a theme that seems to match the format perfectly. In Domina, the player is the inheritor of a decaying ludus, a school for gladiators. As she attempts to bring her father's ludus back to glory, she has to acquire the best fighters in the game while dealing with political bickering between two authorities within the empire, with supplying food, water, wine and infrastructure so that her gladiators can reach their full potential, and with external issues that seem minor and mostly are minor, but may impact the outcome of the campaign. The campaign can be exciting if the player knows how the training system and the fights themselves work. They can hire employees such as an architect, a doctor, a blacksmith, a fighting coach and others in order to improve the upgrade rate of the gladiators and the general structure of the ludus. Battles are periodic, meaning that gladiators are expected to fight every 15 odd days and prepare for those fights as well as recover from them when battles are over. Regional matches are available whenever the player wants to put their gladiators to the test and gain some extra coin and prestige, and are required in order to access the final championship, the closing chapter of the campaign. That's Domina in a nutshell. The thing is, once you have played it the first time, you have seen it all. There is no relevant dynamic aspect that may emerge during gameplay and make a singular playthrough more interesting than previous ones. In short, there is virtually no replayability factor for those who care about replaying a game. But even for those who don't, this is serious. It means that the game is highly predictable in its mechanics of offensive and defensive statistics, and it's both easy to figure out and boring because it will always do what the synthesis of its stats shows. Perhaps a feature that may add attention to the game is the manual control of individual gladiators. But even that comes down to attack, defend, dodge, repeat. Some fighters are faster than others just burst into battle, whereas others block incoming attacks and wait for the right time to strike. But those variations themselves create patterns that are easy to detect. They boil down to class, character level, and combat stats. In addition, peripheral elements of management such as resources seem to be there just for the sake of it, since the cost of their replenishment is too low for the player to actually care about their dwindling as the campaign goes on. One of the main issues is scalability. Sometimes the game goes in a loop of only offering level 200 matches. Level 200 is the maximum for gladiators, by the way, and suffice it to say that a job whose work is fight to the death doesn't really let them live long enough to be that experienced, so only a handful of gladiators are expected to keep up with the matches offered. All the level 20, level 30 fighters don't really get much of a chance to improve and become champions, especially as the campaign goes on. That's not very flexible considering that much of the game's premise is to build a prospect and carry him to the top. Domina is an enjoyable game, all things considered. Watching fights unravel can be at times surprising, and there is a thrill in expecting your most valuable champion to win that loosely simulates how one would feel in a Roman ludus. And there is also the usual hands-on observation necessary in order to master every aspect of management if the player is to properly upgrade their gladiators and their school. Despite its flaws, one being exactly how detached the player can get from that hands-on observation through automatic upgrades later in the game, this indie game can still yield a handful of hours of gameplay, something that not many management titles can in this day and age. It's not complex or long, but if it were, maybe those flaws would stand out more.